Welcome back to my channel, guys. I don't like this, besides they're dirty. Anyway, ooh, can't see now, focus. Okay, so I have a missing child case. I haven't done this in a while on the Bring Them Home series. The last one that I did kind of hit me hard, and I didn't really want to get back into it quite yet. This one I also really didn't want to cover because it's not really the type of cases that I want to cover with involving murder and all this other stuff, or potential alleged murder or all this. So let's just kind of get into it. So today I am doing the case of missing Tylee Ryan and Joshua Jackson Vallow, also known as JJ. So I'll be referring to him as JJ in the future. So I don't know if you guys have seen this. I know it's been all over the news, national news. I don't watch the news. I just watch the internet, basically. The internet is where I get my news. So everywhere that I have been, I have seen something about this case. So it just kind of drew me to it, and I was like, okay, let's just look into it. And then I just went down that continuous rabbit hole, and now I'm bringing it to you. So here we go. So let's start off. I feel like that the best way to do it is going to be going in order on the timeline. The main two people is Lori Vallow Daybell and Chad Daybell. Lori was married to Charles Vallow, age 62. So Lori was 46 and Charles was 62. And I'll be looking down because I want to make sure I get a lot of this right. And I have about 4 pages of notes. So just grab a drink and enjoy. So I was planning to film this a few moments ago. My husband was going to be out doing all this other stuff, and then he came back with dinner. So instead of doing a mukbang, I'm doing this, and then I'm going to eat. I mean, I could do that, but I don't feel, my lipstick's on. I don't want to lose it. Okay, so back into it. So I guess let's take it back to February 2019. Charles Vallow filed for divorce against Lori Vallow, claiming that, I'm going to read this because I don't want to get it wrong. So claiming that she was reincarnated as a god assigned to carry out the work of the 144,000 at Christ's second coming in July 2020. She also threatened him, allegedly threatened him, that if he got in the way, that he would simply, or that she would simply kill him. And like most people would, he sought an order of protection against her. So that was February 2019. Now we go to July the 7th. No, I'm sorry. Now we go to July the 11th, 2019. Lori lives in Arizona. So Charles hops on a plane, flies from his Houston, Texas home to Chandler, Arizona, where he is going to pick up JJ. I don't know if he was just going to take him back or what, but the reports all say that he was going to pick him up to go to school. So I'm not sure if he was taking him back to Texas or just randomly going to take him to school that day. But this happened about 8:30 in the morning, 8:20 or something like that. So he gets there to the house, takes a rental car from the airport, and him and Lori kind of start getting into it, start arguing. Now, at the house is Lori's brother, Alex Cox. What I read was he was there for vacation. Don't know the extent of that, but her brother was there. So as Lori and Charles are getting into it, Alex is feeling more so of like, this is getting too heated, this is going to end badly, and tries to intervene. So as he tries to intervene, Tylee, the 17-year-old daughter, goes to get a bat to protect her mother. Somehow in the scuffle, Charles gets the bat from Tylee and then starts swinging it. Alex kind of gets around him, gets him from behind, and then Charles gets free. As Alex, I guess, is turning around, he hits Alex in the back of the head with a bat. So Alex takes off to his bedroom to get a gun and comes back out into the living room and is asking Charles, you know, what's your problem? What's going on here? You know, put the bat down, drop it. And he doesn't. Instead, he allegedly comes after him again. So Alex fires 4 shots, 2 of which hit him in the chest. Now, upon hearing the shots, I'm not sure where Lori was, if she was in the back of the house or if she was what she was doing, but she says that she comes back into the house and sees her dead husband in the living room and just takes off with the kids in the rental car that Charles rented to go pick up JJ. Alex then calls 911, says, hey, I shot this guy, or my brother-in-law, in self-defense. Here's what happened. The police get there, and after a little bit of talking to Alex, Lori and Tylee show up. It doesn't say that JJ was there with them, just that those 2 were there and they showed up. And so the police started questioning them. Now, that part of the audio and the body cam from the officer has been redacted. So we don't know what type of questions. They said obviously it was redacted mostly because there was a juvenile involved, but others because they were personal information. Now, as the police are questioning Alex, they did find that there was a wound on the back of the head. So that is, you know, that does line up with the fact that Charles came at him with a bat. Charles' attorney has released now that he did fear for his life, and he had told them that if he dies suddenly, that it is going to be at the hands of Lori and Alex. Now, I mean, we don't know the specifics on that. Why was this? Have they threatened him more? None of that's been released. It's obviously a fresh case. It's still ongoing, so the police aren't releasing everything out there. His sister, Charles's sister, and brother-in-law have also said that this was a setup. And it was a setup for his murder, I guess, to probably get him there and then it could happen, basically. Speaking of Charles' sister and brother-in-law, their name is Kay and Larry Woodcock. They are the biological grandparents to JJ. JJ was adopted by Charles, and I do believe Lori as well, when he was a baby. So in retrospect, Charles was JJ's great uncle. I guess let's go back. So this was ruled at this time a self-defense. Basically, you know, Charles came after Alex. Alex shot him. This was all before everything that I'm going to get to later. So just keep that in mind. At that point, it was ruled a self-defense. So that was in July. In August, a few weeks later, the family moved to Rexburg, Idaho. Now, I mean the family as in Lori, the mother, Tylee, the 17-year-old, and JJ, the 7-year-old, along with Alex, Lori's brother. Now, when they were living in Arizona, the house with the body cam, the police body cam, was basically empty. It had no furniture, no bed. There were just mattresses and backpacks. So I don't know if they were already planning on moving. Maybe that's why Charles came to the house. I'm not certain. Nobody's certain on that yet, or it has not been released. Charles was also paying for that house in Arizona. Allegedly, I mean, based on reports, he was paying for that house in Arizona for Lori to stay there. Now, that was August. So we got July, the death of Charles Vallow. August, they moved to Idaho. And now September the 23rd, 2019. This is the last time that the kids were seen. I'm not sure if it was from school or what, but this is the last time that it's noted. There was no missing persons report, no missing child's report, nothing, no investigation, just last time they've been seen. All right, so next month, October the 19th, 2019 is where Chad Daybell comes in. Now, Chad Daybell was married to Tammy Daybell, age 49, and on this day, she suddenly dies in her sleep. It was reported by Chad that she went to sleep coughing the night before and never woke up. In the The death certificate basically just stated that she died of natural causes, right? She died in her sleep from having a cough. So it was ruled as natural causes. Now, the service that was held on October the 23rd, 2019 is basically the last time that his Chad's family saw him. They didn't have a lot of communication with him. They kind of distanced themselves and didn't talk to him because of his religious beliefs, his radical religious beliefs, kind of like Lori, and the books that he was publishing. Now, his wife, Tammy, and Chad, or I guess his late wife, Tammy, and Chad did own a publishing company called Spring Creek Book Company and Falls Printing. It was also stated that Chad had been excommunicated from the Church of Mormons because he stated he was a prophet, or claimed to be a prophet. And talk about the end of the world and the prophecies and Jesus' second coming in this year, in 2020. I'm not that type of religious person, so I'm not going to get into all of that. You can do your research on his books and his religion and all of that. Now, it has also been claimed that he is basically starting his own cult. I don't know much on that. I know he's been on a few podcasts along with Lori and just claiming these radical, off-the-wall type things that basically that the end of the world is coming. No one knows that. God knows that. So let's let him be the one that tells us. All right, so Chad's wife is now deceased and Lori is in Idaho. That's where Chad is. I failed to mention that. Chad is also in Idaho. 2 weeks after Tammy's death, they get married. That's not crazy at all. So nobody's in the way. So Lori's husband, Charles Vallow, no longer wants a divorce because he's no longer alive. And now Chad's wife, Tammy, died of natural causes. She's out of the picture as well. So let's go ahead and get married 2 weeks after my late wife's funeral. That was October, so now come along is November, right? November the 26th. Police finally go to the home for a welfare check. Some family member finally asked them to check on the children. So November the 26th, the police department goes to the home of Lori and Chad in Idaho and ask where the children are. They told the police that, I read in some reports that it was just JJ, and I also read in some reports that both JJ and Tylee were supposedly at a family member's home in Arizona. So that's good enough for the police. Okay, well, they're not here, that's why. So with that, the police then decided to look into their lead or their alibi, stating that the kids were in Arizona. That was a complete lie. This makes the police curious, so they come the next day with a search warrant. Now, I've read two things. I've read that they were gone already and that they found nothing of interest. So I'm not sure which one there is. Maybe they broke in the door and decided to check themselves, but they didn't find anything. They just found that they were gone. But it's a little fishy to me that the first time the police come to question, hey, where's your kids? And now they're gone. That's pretty fishy. Now, this brings up to December the 12th, 2019, where Alex Cox, the brother to Lori that shot Charles Vallow, suddenly dies unexpectedly, no reason released. It was just stated that a witness found him unresponsive, which is crazy because the day before was the day that Chad Daybell's late wife was exhumed for an autopsy. So the body was taken out of the grave to do an investigation finally. Both deaths of Alex Cox, the brother to Lori, and the late wife of Chad have been or are currently being investigated. The bodies have been have been autopsied. So that brings us up to today. So there is a nationwide hunt for Lori Vallow Daybell and Chad Daybell. the two children, which is Tylee Ryan and JJ Vallows, which is Joshua Jackson Vallows. I also failed to mention that the sister to Charles did feel that Lori was cheating on Charles with Chad. Now, I guess it was an online type thing going on because she was in Arizona, he was in Idaho, but I'm not certain on all of that. Now I'm going to get into a few facts. Now, in this case particularly, I am not going to do a theory, rumor, my thoughts, because I'm a little apprehensive on that because I feel that it could potentially be a type of organized crime and cult type thing. And I just don't want to have anything to do with that. I'm just trying to present the evidence as the media has shown. Now, I haven't gotten any police reports, obviously, so all of this is allegedly, from the mouths of the family. Now, it was a few weeks after Tammy Daybell's death that a friend approached Lori and Chad and asked where Tylee was. And they told this person that she had been dead a year prior to her father's death. Now, we know that's not true because there is police body cam with Tylee there. The oldest son, they do have another son, or Lori does have an older son named Colby Ryan. And I do believe he is not the son of Charles. So this thing kind of maps it all out that I'm going to post here. But going along with the oldest son, his name is Colby Ryan. He has a YouTube channel that he just created, at this time that I'm recording this, has 3 videos, basically pleading for his mother to bring the kids back. Basically, don't harm them, just end this, let it be over. YouTube is called CJ Place if you're interested in watching the videos. And I do encourage you to do more investigation because I am leaving a lot of information out that could potentially tie in, because there are things with nieces, there are things with past husbands or spouses, and it is more than I can even cover on this video here. Back to the facts. It was stated by a friend of Lori's that within the last 18 months, she has completely changed. Basically getting involved in this religion, she has become obsessed with it. She has joined this religious group or this so-called cult, and then everything has changed. She's now a god that's assigned to do this deed. I'm not sure. I guess prepare the world for the second coming of Christ. Before all of this, Lori was stated to have a great relationship with her children. She loved her children. She was a hairdresser. She has been married, counting Chad, she has been married 5 times. And I guess no one expected from either one of them, well, from Lori. Chad was people thought he was different, I guess I would say that. He was a little out there on the spectrum of the religious aspect. Now, speaking of Chad and Tammy had 5 children, 2 daughters and 3 sons. Very beautiful family, beautiful kids. There is a bunch of videos and photos also on Facebook with Tylee's friends, which I really didn't want to take that and put that in the video, because when they're minors too, I just don't feel like I want to pass that threshold. I don't want to go there. I mean, it's just not my thing. I know a lot of the news articles have taken those photos because I saw them there and then I saw them in the news articles. So when they're in the news articles, someone's already done it, I will go ahead and post it here. It was also a report in which Alex Cox, the brother to Lori that shot Charles Vallow, had also threatened Joseph Ryan, basically stating he would kill him, and had shot him with a taser, and somehow he'd gotten away. So I do believe when Joseph Ryan was married to Lori, I do believe they divorced and then he passed away. But the police obviously aren't able to question him on her character and any information. Like I said, stated previously, I feel like you should definitely do your own research. You will go down a rabbit hole. There are so many things that branch out of this, I guess, these people, along with a niece and wanting a divorce from her husband and a bunch of other things, a deceased person's vehicle being used in like a drive-by type thing, the death of one spouse, and it's very convoluted and very crazy, and it kind of all stems from these two people. It was also, now we don't know if this is from Tylee or not, so it's why it's not really a well-known fact, but a friend of Tylee's did say that she received a text on October the 25th, 2019, about a month from the day that anyone had seen them. And the text said, "Hi, miss you guys too, love ya." So I hope that's from her. I don't know, maybe they are safe. Maybe they are in some kind of type of brainwashing program. I'm not certain. Like I said, I'm not going to go down the rabbit hole of all these theories. There's so many out there, and I don't want to really get involved in it. I will keep it to myself. But I just wanted to bring you guys all of the facts in one place. Now, this isn't all the facts. A good portion of the facts into one place instead of article after article after article. But I will post below all of my references, and maybe you guys can kind of find out the extra information that I'm talking about. I would like to know what you guys think, and do please remember that the family could potentially see these videos, so be kind in the comments. Know that it may not be Lori or Chad that's watching this, but the family of Lori and Chad. It's not something easy that your family's going through, so just be kind in the comments. Just keep it known and positive. Keep it known that they could potentially watch the video and read comments, and I don't want to hurt anyone with what they're already currently going through. So just keep that in mind and keep it positive in the comments below. If you do feel like commenting. If there's any additional information that you guys think that I should add, then let me know, and I will gladly do a second part, because I did rush through this because there is so much information. And I thought about doing a two-parter, and then it was, I don't know. I felt like I could get it into one, and I'm feeling now that could have potentially been a mistake. But here it is, the video of missing Tylee, Ryan, and Joshua JJ Vallow. If you guys have any information on their whereabouts, or have any information on Chad and Lori's whereabouts, please contact your local authorities. The FBI is currently investigating on your local tip line. However you want to do it, if you know anything, just please get in contact with the local authorities or the proper authorities. And until next time, I will see you guys. Love ya. He thinks he's quiet, but he's not. He says, "Oh, I know how to be quiet." He's legally deaf.